Hey, I'm DJ, your friendly neighborhood tech support, and welcome to another edition of the Cosmic Bulletin. During today's show, we have a lot to cover with you guys. We have things about Call of Duty, Battlefield 5, E3, and just so much more, so stay tuned.
Hey folks, Nymphadora here, Community Manager at GirlStreamers, and the first bit of news I'm going to touch on today is a story involving two content creators, Linity and PewDiePie. And it deals with copyright strikes and copyright claims. As a creative person outside of streaming, before I ever got into streaming, I'm actually very familiar with copyright laws, and this kind of frustrates me because I realized exactly how new online content creating is for copyright laws, and yes, they still have to catch up. But at the same time, many of you online creators do not actually understand copyright laws. And this is a little frustrating. You need to know this stuff. So to back things up a little bit that brought this story to life, I was watching another news show called The Philip DeFranco Show, and I will link everything that Phil states about this because he actually goes into detail. He talks to all the sources. He gets stuff from Linity, he gets stuff from PewDiePie, and he gets stuff from the third source that is a part of this, which is what we're going to focus on, Collab DRM. So to kind of give you guys an overall of what happened, Linity is a Twitch streamer, and she was live streaming, and she happened to be watching one of PewDiePie's YouTube videos. And in this video, he uses a clip of hers from her Twitch stream, and he calls her a Twitch thought, along with other ladies he calls a Twitch thought. And she gets upset, rightfully so. The problem is, after she got upset, she then said she's going to copyright strike him because of a company that represents her called Collab DRM. Continuing to say, I'm not sure what it does or how it works, but I just tell them that this happens and I get money. Alright, first things first, I really have an issue with that, and we will actually circle back to that. However, it turns out what she was saying, she was responding to live chat, she was in the heat of the moment, she didn't really, she was basically trying to keep keep up a front, you know, defend herself, defend her actions, and just put on a brave face, which we all understand in light of, you know, trolley chat or whatever. When people are asking you to explain yourself and you think you're in the right, of course you're going to want to defend yourself. However, it turns out she never did send a strike, but PewDiePie did get a strike. So it looks like she's the one who sent it, when in reality she is not. And the biggest problem with that is, when it first broke, they thought, oh, she has way too much power over this issue, because there's a problem, there's a difference between strikes and claims, and I will actually get into that a little bit more in just a second. So Collab DRM did actually send a strike to PewDiePie, and he ended up taking down the video with her clip and put a video back up without her clip. And Collab actually confirms all of this in after Philip DeFranco reached out to them and asked them specifically, what about this, this, and this? And they confirmed that she never sent the claim, and it was basically a weird set of timing, and they blame it on a human error because PewDiePie actually shouldn't have received a strike at all. His video fell under fair use policy under the copyright laws. So you're probably asking yourself, why is this so important? So this is important because Collab DRM boasts to be a company that represents online content creators and protects their intellectual property. But the problem is they are using their clients and clearly going over the line that is set for copyright laws. Content creators, you need to know who you're working with and understand fully what you're getting into when you're signing up with a company. You also need to make sure that this company knows copyright law. Collab DRM, a strike and a claim are two different things. They are two separate things, and one is worse than the other when it comes to YouTube. A strike, if you get too many, will eventually lead to your channel's deletion. So we should not be in the business to ruin people's income just because you don't like what they say. However, we also shouldn't just use people's content without their consent if it resides outside of fair use. The problem lies with the fact that YouTube does not have the manpower to cover anything like this. So you have companies like Collab DRM popping up and pretending to be white knights on the internet when in reality they're the Malfoys and all they want is a piece of power and money. So please, 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 I beg you, do your research when signing up with the company. For any reason, make sure they are actually out to help you and other people. And if you actually want me to go into more detail about copyright laws and how they work, I would be glad to because I am actually married to an attorney, so I'm very knowledgeable in this particular area as a creative person myself. So just leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think about this, and if you guys want to know more about copyright itself.
Over the last 8 years, we've seen Twitch grow and shape what our live streaming expectations are. And just when you think you've seen and know it all, you're proven wrong. Example, Frankie Colomarino, co-founder of the ad agency Problem, has launched twitch.tv/Tokyo. It is the first channel that is dedicated to Tokyo and its many subdivisions. The Problem isn't working with or in partnership with the Japanese government. In fact, this is an independent endeavor that Colomarino has been working on for over a year. What you can expect from this channel is 6-hour-long streams featuring chefs, gamers, artists, and natives that represent Tokyo the best. This is definitely an interesting first, and I'll be paying attention to see how well this venture goes. There's no doubt in my mind that it will interest a lot of viewers, and this can open up to many venues for Twitch.
There's quite a bit in TV and movie news this week, including an announcement of a Charmed reboot, Lord of the Rings TV show, and a Monster Hunter movie. That's right, a Charmed trailer has come out for you witchy lovers, and it has a beautifully diverse cast, but there is still no actual date. However, it is coming this fall. Moving to Lord of the Rings TV, that's right, you heard me, Lord of the Rings is getting its own TV show. So our overlords at Amazon, specifically Amazon Studios, has greenlit a $1 billion series following young Aragorn. Now, this is not going to go into the War of the Rings. It's actually going to focus on what's in the appendices. And there's a lot of information there for them to explore. So I'm interested to see how this goes. And finally, yes, I said it. You heard me correct. There will be a live-action movie of the popular game Monster Hunter starring Mila Jovovich. Yep, that's right. Mila Jovovich. So links to all this information can be found down below.
So, a little movie you might have heard about recently came out this past weekend, and it's just a casual superhero movie called Deadpool, who was brought to life by actor Ryan Reynolds. Well, during his press tour promoting Deadpool 2, he kind of low-key entered into a singing show called King of Masked Singers, which is one of South Korea's most popular TV programs. He was a featured performer only known as Unicorn, where he adorned a pastel glittery unicorn mask and draped in a white sparkly cape with a rainbow trim. There, he sang a rendition of Tomorrow from the 1977 musical Annie. Now, I gotta say, he isn't the greatest singer, but he really wasn't that bad at all. So, when he failed to progress to the next stage, he unveiled himself, leaving the audience and judges in shock, or rushing to snipe pictures of him. And contrary to his character's brash and crude personality, Reynolds was actually a really courteous and kind guest, which is really, really sweet. And of course, he was a lot to be kind and humbled about. The opening weekend delivering maximum effort, Deadpool 2 took the #1 spot from Avengers Infinity War with an estimated opening weekend of $125 million domestically. And I'd say he's off to a great start, but for how long? As Solo is upon us, so it may be a short-lived top spot.
If you are a Spider-Man fan, you will be excited to hear that the sequel will be featuring Mysterio. However, you may not be as excited about who Sony has its sights set for Mysterio. Jake Gyllenhaal is in discussions to play Mysterio. And Variety is reporting that Michael Keaton will return as the Vulture. So I'm interested to see how this will play out. I would really like to hear your opinions on this, so leave a comment down below. Let me know. Are you a fan of Gyllenhaal? Do you think he can do a good Mysterio? Tell me. Tell me what your thoughts are. Oh, friends of you who, like me, watch Nickelodeon in its heyday, you probably already know that Double Dare is coming back. But exciting news has come out this week. They're also bringing back Mark Summers, the original host. However, his role will not be as host this time around. He will be an advisor to the new host, along with other roles including Mayor of Double Dare Town. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm actually really intrigued. The new host is actually a YouTube content creator, Liza Koshy. She actually got her start on YouTube, and I'm really excited for her, and I hope this goes well. Congratulations to her, and we will get to see them both on Double Dare this summer starting June 25th.
A couple weeks ago, filming for Shazam wrapped up, and there's been a lot of speculation and criticizing of actor Zachary Levi in costume as Shazam. Now, during a short stint in Las Vegas, Levi posted on Instagram our first official look at his promo banner. Now, we at least have a really great idea what his final look is after going through the post-production process. Now, with there being so many superhero movies coming out, it's kind of hard to keep up and know where the storyline is. Well, here's a brief synopsis of what to expect from Shazam. We all have a superhero inside us. It just takes a bit of magic to bring it out. In Billy Batson's case, by shouting out one word, Shazam, this streetwise 14-year-old foster kid can turn into the super adult superhero Shazam, courtesy of an ancient wizard. Still a kid at heart, inside a ripped godlike body, Shazam revels in this adult version of himself by doing what any other teen would do with superpowers. Have fun with them. Can he fly? Does he have X-ray vision? Can he shoot lightning out of his hands? Can he skip his social studies test? Shazam sets out to test the limits of his abilities with the joyful recklessness of a child. But he'll need to master these powers quickly in order to fight the deadly forces of the evil controlled by Dr. Thaddeus Savannah. Shazam will be in theaters April 5th, 2019.
Star Wars nerds unite! Alright, if you are a Star Wars fan, you will be excited to learn that Star Wars Celebration is back. What is Star Wars Celebration? For those of you that don't know, it is essentially a convention that's all Star Wars. That's basically what it is. If you are interested in celebrating nothing but Star Wars, it will take place in Chicago next year in 2019. The celebration will take place at McCormick Place in April from April 11th through the 15th, and tickets will go on sale this year, June 5th at 12 p.m. Central on StarWarsCelebration.com. I'll make sure to link that down below so you guys can go over and read up more about it and to set up your stuff to buy the tickets, because I know June 5th is coming up pretty soon.
If you're feeling a little overwhelmed trying to keep up with all the Netflix's originals, well, brace yourselves. This segment, we're going to touch the surface of all the Netflix updates to come. Netflix's Chief Content Officer Ted Sarandos stated that around 1,000 originals will be streaming by the end of 2018. Sarandos has also said that 85% of the new spending is going towards original content, and the company is expected to spend $8 billion this year. Following along this thread, we'll dive into just a small handful of shows and partnerships with Netflix that we can see in the future. The very first one starting off with is Guillermo del Toro is set to work with Netflix on a horror anthology series rightfully titled Guillermo del Toro Presents 10 After Midnight, where each episode will tell a new genre tale. Think of it as a combination of Alfred Hitchcock meets Black Mirror meets Tales from the Crypt. I'm personally excited for this collaboration. And here's an interesting twist, and possibly the last duo I'd expect to work with Netflix. Former President and former First Lady Barack and Michelle Obama have formally announced a multi-year deal with Netflix, where they will produce television shows and films. Together, the Obamas created Higher Ground Productions. Now, former President stated that he doesn't intend to use this platform to wage a public campaign against his successor or to fight against conservative voices that populate media outlets. In fact, Netflix has said that the Obamas will produce scripted series, unscripted series, docuseries, documentaries, and features that highlight issues and themes the former president pursued during his 8 years in office. Now, as my president, I look forward to the content they will be producing in these coming years. Now, as if we aren't getting enough of Ryan Reynolds, he is in the works with Netflix to star in a Netflix film called Six Underground, which, conveniently enough, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, also from Deadpool, will write and executive produce story. Six Underground may also be a very ambitious project for Netflix, as sources claim that they are making a $150 million commitment. The synopsis is still under wraps, but production is expected to start this summer with a release sometime in 2019. And my last but personal favorite and pick for this Netflix segment is via Entertainment Weekly. We got our first look at the series poster for She-Ra, Princesses of Power. Now, growing up, I loved watching She-Ra. It wasn't a common or normal sight to see a cartoon with stories of female power. But here's the cool part. It's the Princesses of Power, not princess. It's plural. So we may see that She-Ra's friends may be granted elevated status of powerful monarchs. And here's what you can expect. She-Ra and the Princesses of Power is the story of an orphan named Adora who leaves behind her former life in the evil horde when she discovers a magic sword that transforms her into a mythical warrior princess, She-Ra. Along the way, she finds a new family in the rebellion as she unites a group of magical princesses in the ultimate fight against evil. This series is set to debut by the end of the year, and I can't wait.
For those of you that are big fans of Alan Moore, you'll be sad to hear that a TV series is being made about Watchmen, and they've even got a cast. For those of you that just don't care about Alan Moore's opinions, you'll be excited to hear that there will be a TV show about Watchmen, and they've even got a cast. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the creator of Watchmen, Alan Moore, has said many times before that he does not like remakes of Watchmen. He thinks that the only medium that Watchmen should be in is the medium that he created it in. The reason why there are remakes of Watchmen is because he actually sold his rights to the works. So he doesn't actually get a say-so in whether or not it gets remade. Writer Damon Lindelof has confirmed that HBO's adaptation of the series will be set in present day, but it will not be directly from the original story. In fact, Lindelof says that they will be exploring the world through a new lens. Not sure what that means for him, but there have been casting choices made, and they're actually keeping all of the roles under wraps. Regina King is slated to play the lead role, but nobody's really sure who or what that's supposed to be. Variety also states that Don Johnson, Tim Blake Nelson, Louis Gossett Jr., Adelaide Clemens, and Andrew Howard are all signed on as cast members. They're actually keeping most of the details very close at hand, and there's not much more information about it. I'm curious, are you a Watchmen fan, and what is your opinion? I really want to know. Last Tuesday, Stan Lee filed a lawsuit against POW, Purveyors of Wonder Entertainment. This is a media company that he co-founded with Gil Champion and Arthur Lieberman, claiming that Champion and the now CEO are trying to steal and profit from Lee's identity. Lee is claiming that they sold the company and stole his identity without his permission. However, POW responded by saying it's untrue and kind of alludes to the fact that his daughter, JC, is possibly behind it, and that they have evidence and can back it up, so they're willing to go to court. Lee has also filed a suit against his former business partner for abusing his right as Lee's right of attorney and bought a condo valued over $800,000 that Lee claims he did not agree to. As we covered in a previous episode, there are allegations that JC is possibly abusing Lee and bullying him and taking advantage of him right now. So if you want to read more about this, there will be a link down below.
In very sad news, Boss Key Productions has shut down. In the last couple months, we've seen them struggle to pick up steam with Lawbreakers, which eventually led to a free-to-play game. In what may have been a last-ditch effort, they released an extreme early access of Radical Heights to hopefully turn a profit, but it was too little too late, and they couldn't recover. Radical Heights had some great potential and was shaping up to fit that middle ground between Fortnite and PUBG. Now, what may be co-founder Cliff Bleszinski's way of coping, he spent time on Twitter sharing some of his unfinished game ideas, and I got to spend some time looking through his feed. And I'm even more personally bummed with their closure, or even that other studios didn't want to pick up his projects. Of his ideas, my favorite was Dragonflies, and described by Cliff Bleszinski as a ninja samurai in airships riding dragons fighting zombies with friends in a PvE feudal punk setting on floating islands. Majority of the art he posted was drawn by Sean Lin, and the concept art looked really badass, and I could picture it all. It sounds like a crazy idea, but such a fresh concept that we don't have. For now, Bleszinski says he'll be taking time away to refocus before taking his next step.
Kingdom Hearts has been in the news lately with its previews and announcements of all of the extra Disney stuff that is going to be in it. And so far, it seems that this is actually going to be the end of the Kingdom Hearts saga. I guess that's why it's taken so long to finish. So Amy Ratcliffe of The Nerdist got a chance to play a preview of the game recently, and she said it was mostly to show the gameplay and changes of the game. She states that the textures, lighting, interactivity with the environment around are all so much better in Kingdom Hearts 3. She also goes into detail about combat and movement. And if you'd like to read more about this, I will definitely link her article down below so you can read up on it.
Announced last year at E3, Ubisoft introduced us to an open-world pirate adventure called Skull and Bones. Sadly, it has been delayed until their 2019-2020 fiscal year. Originally slated for sometime late 2018, Ubisoft decided to take more time to develop Skull and Bones to offer a more engaging experience. Continuing this trend, Shenmue 3 will also be delayed to 2019, giving a very general next year some time. As vague as that window is, their reason was just as vague, as I quote, "to polish the quality of the game even further to the high standards it deserves and release the product in the best possible time frame." Now, I'm a firm believer that if a studio needs to delay, it's usually for a good reason, and I don't mind waiting a little longer for a much better polished game. Have you ever sat playing Overwatch and you see your friends are online playing Call of Duty, and then suddenly you just wish you could jump into party chat and talk with them? I know it's very oddly specific, I know, but if you're that one person in the world that thought that, don't worry. Blizzard will be answering your wishes soon. This past week, we watched the announcement of Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and here's a breakdown of what we learned and what to be expected so far. For PC gamers, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 will be using Blizzard's Entertainment's Battle.net online gaming service. The idea of this isn't so far-fetched, as it is showing increased cooperation between the Activision and Blizzard sister companies. Treyarch is taking it seriously with the growing importance of PC gaming, and the team is working to build the best PC experience anyone has seen. And what does that mean for us? Well, Black Ops 4 will be fully integrated with social features on Battle.net, and you'll be able to add friends, talk with your friends, party up, and interact with them in-game. And if you really need to, you can party chat with your buddy as he plays Overwatch. The PC version will have variable frame rate, support HDR and ultra-wide monitors. And now for the juicy stuff. Treyarch has confirmed that they will not have a campaign. Instead, they'll be bulking up their multiplayer experience. Quoting Treyarch boss Mark Lamia, Black Ops 4 doesn't have a traditional campaign. We're weaving narrative into each of the modes, which is a very different approach and change to Call of Duty's long-standing history. In the multiplayer trailers, we got to see health bars, which you either have to heal yourself or rely on Crash, a medic who can restore other players' health, which actually leads to the fact that health regeneration will not be automatic. Black Ops 4 is introducing some hero shooter element, which places an emphasis on specialist characters and their gear sets. Very, very interesting. This element alone will force players to consider their picks and constructing a balanced team. Needless to say, there's no thrush jumping, no wall running, or any crazy futuristic space stuff that was very disliked among fans. But a feature that is loved is Zombies mode will be back, but will also be very different from the past. With these changes, there will be customizable options and modes, and which these can offer buffs to zombies and player characters, time challenges, and for the first time ever, bot support. The trailers were just very confusing and weird for me, but my interests were piqued. I'll follow up with it. I won't say that these changes are bad though, but they announced 3 different zombie maps. First one being 9, which is an ancient Roman gladiator arena. Second being a sinking Titanic in Voyage of Despair. And the third, a remake of previous zombie maps in Blood of the Dead. All featuring the original Zombies mode cast. Now the biggest addition, although I can't say I'm surprised, is the brand new Battle Royale mode known as Blackout. In the Blackout mode, you can play as characters from the previous games and use any weapon found throughout the Black Ops series, which I think is actually pretty cool. As with all the traditional Battle Royale games, you'll be fighting to be the last man standing. However, here's the big however here. No announcement of the number of players for each match. In fact, they are being pretty vague about it. According to studio director David Vonderhaar, try to say his name correctly here, they're working on figuring out what their magic BR number will be, but hinted that if you look at the map they showed, we might be able to find out our answer, but that could also be a misdirection. I personally did go back and counted the yellow dots on the map, and assuming that each represented a player, I counted around 155. Obviously, it could be more or less, as some dots were bigger than others, so it could be clusters of players fighting, I'm not sure. Ultimately, it was stated that the player count will be multiples higher than the highest they've ever done. Hopefully, they'll reveal more information during E3. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 comes out on October 12th on PlayStation 4, Xbox, and PC.
So there's a lot of news for Overwatch this week, so I hope you're sitting down. First and foremost, we have to talk about you guys and all of those who bought those adorable Mercy skins and t-shirts. I'm still waiting on mine. You helped raise almost $10 million for breast cancer research. That is amazing. Congratulations, Blizz, for having such a successful campaign. Next up, we have a new map called Petra. It's actually really beautiful. Take a look. What's cool about this map is that many fans have discovered some computers and tablets that refer to other maps, almost as if there is some kind of lore linking these places together. Many of these come from an H Faisal? I'm not sure how to say that, I'm sorry. But they connect maps like Ilios to Petra, and there's also a reference to a new project in Thailand, which could possibly refer to the recent Capture the Flag map, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it, but it's Ayutthaya, Ayutthaya. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. So this map has come out during the Overwatch anniversary event, which seriously has a lot of stuff going on in it. If you haven't noticed, Blizzard is celebrating its 2-year anniversary with Overwatch right now. They put out a trailer to celebrate it called Trace and Bake, and I will actually link that down below. The anniversary event is going on now until June 11th, and you can get an opportunity to get old event skins, as well as a few new ones, including a pirate Junkrat, and a seriously dapper looking Doomfist. There are others, but for time we'll move on. If you have not bought Overwatch and have thought about buying it, you can save $20 right now on the Legendary Edition, which includes the Origin skins and all of the loot from the Origins Edition, which is the first when it first came out, which includes Diablo 3 stuff, StarCraft stuff, Hearthstone stuff, WoW, HOTS, all of that stuff that came along with the Origins Edition when Overwatch came out. Plus, you get 5 epic skins and 5 legendary skins. The Legendary Edition is $39.99 right now, while the regular version of Overwatch, without all of the extra stuff, is $19.99. Both available until June 4th at that price. And finally, Overwatch is going to get Lego-fied. Activision Blizzard and LEGO have sealed a deal with Hasbro to create official Overwatch Legos. We will get probably Lego sets and items, including, probably figurines and stuff. Along with this news, you can also buy Nerf guns that are based off of Overwatch, which both of these just fill my geeky little heart. So go have fun.
Now, a battle royale that isn't a rumor and without a doubt owning the scene. Fortnite. We've seen how well Ninja's Vegas and Keemstar's tournaments played out, so it's of no surprise of the esports path that Fortnite will be taking. Just recently, Epic held their limited time Fortnite ranked play mode with promises of more details on competitive play arriving soon. So it shouldn't be much of a shock when Epic announced that they will be putting in $100 million into tournament pools in the game's first year as an esport. In their blog post, they plan to approach the competitive scene in a different way. They plan to be more inclusive and focus on the joy of playing and watching the game, which fits perfectly in line with their latest update for E3, where they will be hosting a quasi-pro-am tournament. On Tuesday, June 12th at 3:30 p.m. Pacific, they'll be live streaming this epic showdown where 50 pro players pair with 50 celebrities to win the ultimate victory royale. $3 million in charity prize money that will be donated to the charity of their choice. Now, this prize money is not included in the $100 million that they plan to put into the esports scene. We already have a teaser of who to expect, and to name a few duos, we have Ninja and Marshmello, and Myth and Paul George. Over the next couple of weeks, we'll see more duo pairs as we near year E3. So, you can't have one AAA shooter without the announcement of the other. DICE held their own reveal for Battlefield 5, and so let's dive straight into the good meaty stuff. This next installment is set in World War II, including a 4-player co-op mode called Combined Arms, and a steady flow of content after launch called The Tides of War. A hot topic for many gamers is loot boxes, and EA has confirmed that Battlefield 5 will not feature loot boxes, and the items available for purchase in-game is cosmetic only. Another huge plus, there will be no premium pass. So what does that mean? Everyone gets to play all the maps just by owning the base game, so no more paying for modes or separating the community based on the depths of our wallets. There was also a rumor of them having their own Battle Royale mode, which is actually kind of true. Grand Operations is Battlefield's multi-round game mode, which ultimately culminates in an extra round known as Last Stand, which is pretty much sudden death, and you'll be fighting for 4 rounds in which about 4 in-game days. All remaining players will fight until only one remains, and sadly it's not a standalone mode. And based on the reveal trailer, I really couldn't tell what was going on. It looked very much scripted, but from what I could tell, it looked like the multiplayer mode. But there was so much going on that honestly I was a little confused. It did look nice, and I loved the action, and it was nice to see a female character, but was thrown off by her mechanical arm. So, am I to assume some sort of steampunk World War II setting? I'm not sure, but with E3 coming, we may see more news coming out. Battlefield 5 comes out on October 19th on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC.
So Dungeons & Dragons it's a fun game. It's an immersive game, and if you have a good DM, it is just so fun. But if you want to step up your D&D game, you can do it with animated maps. That's right. A recent article on Kotaku came out about animated D&D maps, and they featured this guy's company. I don't know the guy's name, but Dynamic Dungeons is an attempt at making maps animated and just generally more fun. So these maps include ambient sound. You can have them go from light to dark for daylight transitions, and they're actually really gorgeous. You can just play, they're basically animated files. You can play them on your TV and use them to just add a little oomph to your next D&D campaign. I will actually link the Kotaku article because they also had a few other people respond and say that they've made some animated maps as well. So they will have a nice little list of people to check out if you guys want to add this to your next D&D campaign.
E3 is 17 days away and news is trickling in. So here's what we know, and we'll just try to power through this list. So Gearbox Software CEO and co-founder Randy Pitchford, in a string of texts that eventually led to news or not news that Borderlands 3 will be skipping E3, but in a very roundabout way that as plain, simple, and clear as he can be that Borderlands 3 will be missing from E3, that fans and media will still speculate that it will be there. But I believe him though. Now, Devolver Digital, who brought us games like Hotline Miami, will be at and attending and holding a briefing. From the sounds of it, it may be over the top. Their briefing titled Big Fancy Press Conference will be live on Twitch on Sunday, June 10th at 8 p.m. Pacific at the Dave Lang Memorial Convention Center, which actually isn't a real place. Their entire event description is so weird, but in the best way. So, this year's Big Fancy Press Conference will feature real, actual game reveals and technological innovations from Developer Labs, the research and development arm of Devolver Digital responsible for last year's earliest access program and making throwing money at the screen a valid form of payment. And there will almost certainly be blood, possibly loss of life. Last little gem for Devolver, they expect this year's briefing to be a dumpster fire. Whatever all of that means, it sounds like a thrilling ride and something we must all tune in for. But on the calmer side of E3, Sony Showcase will take place on Monday, June 11th at 6 p.m. Pacific and will have a major focus on upcoming PlayStation 4 games. In an episode of the PlayStation Blogcast, they hinted that this year's media event will be different from the ones in the past. Not entirely sure what that means, as it's not clear if Sony is holding a traditional live press conference or not. But it's been confirmed that we will definitely be seeing more of Death Stranding, Spider-Man, The Last of Us Part 2, and Ghost of Tsushima. Although there has been news that the PS4 is nearing its end, it's been confirmed that there will be no hardware announcements, so don't expect to hear anything about a PS5 or a Vita 2. But, speaking of Death Stranding, Hideo Kojima tweeted out a pic of Death Stranding trailer vid, so this may be the trailer we need to add more context as to what Death Stranding really is, but funny enough, even if we had that better detailed trailer, I have a feeling we'll still be just as confused, but still throwing money at our screens. He also later tweeted what is presumably an in-game engine screenshot from Death Stranding. A lot of assumptions are being made, but what you can really say about rocks and green moss? Not much. But I can tell you it's the nicest in-game moss and rocks I've ever seen. But Kojima-san will also be attending E3 to host with Jeff Keighley, where he'll talk about design process and his unique creative methods.
Exciting news has come out on Nintendo Life. Nintendo has applied for a new N64 trademark. The trademark covers video game program, controller for the game machine, joystick for video game machine, TV game machine, and more. So this could just be Nintendo protecting its property and history, because they have actually done this in the past for the N64, or it could be a classic edition of the N64 on the way. If we are getting a new N64, I would be so excited. I have so many memories on that console. Let me know what you think this could be and what your opinion is.
Gamers come in all shapes and sizes and walks of life. So in an effort to be more inclusive to gamers with disabilities, Xbox has introduced their newest piece of hardware, the Xbox Adaptive Controller. Designed for gamers that may have limited mobility or may not be able to use traditional controllers, their goal was to make a device that was adaptable so that gamers can create a setup that works for them in a way that is plug and play and affordable. With this announcement, and in honor of Global Accessibility Awareness Day, Xbox has also introduced the new Xbox Ideas site. The Xbox Insider team hopes to hear more from the community and how Xbox can create a more inclusive products and services. So this is great news for the community overall, and I can't wait to see what sort of ideas come from that. Although Sony won't be introducing any new hardware at E3 this year, they will be stopping production of some of their items. Sony will be shutting down production of physical Vita games. And what does this mean? Well, that developers and publishers will no longer be able to create or ship new games on Sony's proprietary cards. Production will stop by the end of 2018 fiscal year, which is March 2019. Now, if you're asking why March 2019 sounds familiar with Sony, this is the same timeline that Sony has announced that Vita games will no longer be given out with PlayStation Plus. Now, where the PS4 has flourished, the Vita just didn't fully find its place among the handhelds. You'll still be able to buy games digitally, and they haven't mentioned anything about ceasing production of the Vita itself, but it's a safe bet to assume that the Vita will be phased out soon.
So PlayStation boss John Codera said that the PS4 is entering the end of its life cycle. What this means is that for the next 3 years, they will be preparing for what comes after the PS4. I'm guessing that means the PS5. But I wouldn't be surprised, because with most consoles, there is a downturn in profit eventually, considering it's been out since 2013. They have stated that there will be no new hardware announcements at E3 this year, and this does not mean that PlayStation is going under. It just simply means that they are no longer making profit off of PS4, so they have to turn their attention elsewhere, like PSN and their other online services. Sony is simply looking at what the average gamer is going with now, and they have noticed with the PS4 that hardware isn't as important anymore, so I wouldn't look at getting a PS5 until maybe 2020 or later. I mean, I, for one, still have a PS3 because it hasn't broken. It still plays the games I want to play. Yeah, I don't get to play, the nice new games that have come out, but I'm not going to go out and buy a PS4 just because it's new. However, we will start to see a drop in price for PS4s, and we'll probably start seeing some more content from Sony on the mobile platform area, because that's where a lot of gamers are gaming at the moment, is stuff that's more mobile.
On the Cosmic Bulletin, we always take the time out to give a special shout out and congratulations to our members' milestones. This episode, we offer up a special shout out to Fallen 971 Angel 1 for making Twitch affiliate. And did you miss Stream Theory's last episode of discussing game and content choice? Well, fear not, you can catch up on the previous episode via our highlights section on the GirlStreamers channel and on Stream Theory's YouTube channel. But tomorrow, Sunday, May 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern, you can watch the premiere of Episode 3 of Stream Theory, where Esley and Carice will be discussing strategies for growth. Following immediately after the premiere, they will be hosting a live Q&A just for the community, so get those questions ready. You don't want to miss this. Keep up to date with the latest Stream Theory news and updates by following GirlStreamers and Stream Theory on Twitter. And lastly, thank you to everyone that stopped by our last community game night, where we tried out Town of Salem and played many fun games of Jackbox. Your support on our road to TwitchCon has been fun, and we hope you continue to support us on this ride. Our next community game night is currently scheduled for June 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we haven't decided a game yet, but if there is one you'd love to see us play or would love to play with us, we'd love to hear it. So hit us up on Twitter, leave a comment on YouTube, or let us know live in chat right now.
Our next podcast will be June 3rd with Dacio at 8 p.m. Eastern on the GirlStreamers Twitch channel. If you can't make it, remember all of our past podcasts are available in both audio format on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play, and video format on YouTube. Speaking of podcast, we will be celebrating 2 years of the Girl Streamer podcast in June, and it will be our 50th podcast. So come out on June 24th as we have a special cast featuring all of the management team in one go. We'll probably discuss where GirlStreamers was 2 years ago and where it is now, and learn how we each have changed over the course of GirlStreamers being here for 2 years. And don't forget, our streamer of the month for the month of May is Lena Frex. You can find her on Twitch at twitch.tv/Lena Frex. That's LENOFREX. We will have a vote for the next streamer of the month on June 1st.
So if you're interested in joining our community, visit our website at www.girlstreamers.com for more information. And definitely follow us on Twitter at GirlStreamers. And you can watch and follow our stream team on Twitch at twitch.tv/GirlStreamers_INC. And be sure, if you're watching this on YouTube, to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell so that you'll be notified for all of our new videos.